Hi babes, welcome to Hamilton's Halogen, and this is your friend, Carrie Hamilton. This is a place where darkness meets illumination and truth becomes your turning point. Just like a halogen light burns brighter and hotter to reveal darkness, this podcast is about bringing light into places that many avoid. If you've ever felt lost in the dark, this space is for you. It's time to stop surviving and start shining. Hello friends, Carrie Hamilton here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today is such a wonderful day, and why do you ask? Well, because you're here joining me. If no one has told you today, I am honored to be the first, but I want to let you know how amazing you are, and don't ever forget that you are someone, some of the one. With that being said, let's begin. So today I want to talk about something. So a couple of days ago, I had posted how I was like all in my feels, and I didn't even know if I was going to post it. I was kind of like reflecting back on the past and just where I am today. One thing I will say, and I would think anyone that has gone through like a spiritual awakening can say this: you are in a survival mode, and every day of life is like go, 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 go. And that's kind of like the only life that you know. And when you go through this trauma or tragic event and whatever it is that brings you this spiritual awakening, it's literally like God pumped the brakes, it's like you literally hit a cement wall and you are slowly rebuilding yourself. I mean, I'm 4 years out since my spiritual awakening, and I feel like every day I'm learning something new or discovering something new even about myself or other people and so forth. And so the hardest part for me to adapt is the fact that I'm not go, 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 go anymore. And so instead of looking at it as a blessing and that I'm in my peace, and it really is when you are in peace and have that silence that you discover different things about yourself, because you obviously have the time to, mentally prepare and mentally think about things. And so sometimes, I fall into these ruts, like as if I feel that I went backwards in life instead of forward in life, because I feel like I'm not go, go, go anymore. And I'm not, 10 steps ahead of the game. And so I'm like, oh my God, am I this like a loser now? Like I'm not where I used to be and so forth, and of course, going through those spiritual awakenings, you go through a lot of loss as well. And so, taking that loss away, you feel that you have gone backwards. But the truth is, and the reality is, all of those things were not real. They were illusions to your value and to your worth. And so everything inside of you, who you are, is internal. So who makes you you and the value of you and your worthiness and so forth is who you are mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in your physical spirit, not what is on the outside, not the money you have, the boat you own, the car you have, and so forth. And so when you are in that trauma life and that go, go, go life, that's the value you see in yourself. And what I didn't realize until I had gone through all this is the fact that I had valued who I was in things and in successes that I had accomplished. And it stems from your childhood, because when you have either emotionally immature parents, maybe you lived in toxicity and no one ever told you that they were proud of you, or you never had like a limit or a set bar that made you feel that you were worthy enough. So when you live in that survival mode and you're in that go, 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 it's actually very unhealthy, because you're almost seeking that bar, that limit, that worthiness externally, when your worthiness is who you are, discovering who you are and where you feel good of where you are in life and who you are in life. And that's really the discovery, the amazing discovery of going through a spiritual awakening, because it really strips that ego from who you thought you were, and the things, the external things that you accomplished or had or bought or whatever that you feel dictate who you are and your worthiness and your value. But really, those are all just things. And so going through that, it really, sometimes I fall back into that rut and feel like, oh my God, now I'm not worthy because I don't have the things I used to have, when that's not true at all. And of course, I want love. I want long-term committed love. I want, would I get married again? Yeah, probably if I found that, certain one. But I mean, I'd rather take one step at a time and be in a full long-term committed relationship and go, obviously see where it goes, right? See the partner that I get. But the reason I'm bringing all this up is because today I want to talk about just that. I want to talk about, so Nikola Tesla was, you guys probably all know him back from in the day. He had this like 369 like discovery, and a lot of people have different interpretations of the 369, and the interpretation that I kind of have with reading and just discovering chemistry and the law of attraction and all of that kind of jazz. First I discovered that Nikola Tesla and I have the same birthday, so I was like, well, hey, maybe I got one thing going for me here. But no. So the 3 for me and my interpretation, of course, like I said, there's so many different ways that you could, meditate and put all this into play and blah, blah, blah. But the 3 that I interpret that has best fit myself and my beliefs and so forth is that the way that we work, we are all matter, you matter, I matter, we are matter, science, chemistry, biology, however you want to put it. And so every living organism and in matter in this world, we are energy, frequency, and vibration. That is what separates us from one another. Everyone works on a different vibration, works on a different frequency, works on a different energy. And so like last week or whatever, a couple days ago, when I was all in my feels and I was feeling sorry for myself, obviously my energy was low. My vibration was low. I was playing Miss Debbie Downer and Sally Sorry for myself. And that affects then your atmosphere, your vibration, and where you are. Like, how many times have you walked into a room and you're like, if someone toxic is in there, you're just like, ugh, like it just drains you. Like, or if you're in like a crazy environment, or even maybe your living conditions are, not the best, you're drained. You want to like go to bed because you're just so tired from handling and dealing with that toxicity and that, horrific atmosphere that you're in. And so that is one thing with the 3s, is that you really have to watch your energy, your frequency, your vibration, because you cannot get abundancy and you cannot live a wonderful life, a glorious life. You can't find peace. You can't find happiness if you are in negative frequencies and negative vibrations. And I'm going to share with you, some of that information as we go on with this video, with this subject. But I just want to express to you that when people say like, watch your energy, like, save your energy, stay in high frequencies, it is very, very imperative if you really want to be a successful person, an abundant person, someone who's prosperous, someone that, is the light source and the energy source. Those types of people have to be in a high vibrational and a high energy atmosphere. Positivity all the way. I have said to you guys many times, like, count your blessings, not your burdens, because every day is going to be bad and every day is going to be good. There's going to be good things and bad things that you could discover every single day. But if you focus on the positive things and you put your mindset, as I have said to you millions of times, our minds are the steering wheel to our lives. And if we set that baseline to be positive and everything uplifting and going from there, there is no other way that the universe can do the boomerang effect and come back to you other than positivity, because your mind is no different than your mouth. If you eat junk food, your body's going to show that you eat junk food. Same thing with the mind. If you feed your mind junk, that is going to be what you disperse. If you constantly have a Debbie Downer attitude, a Sally sorry for yourself. If you constantly look that way, you will always choose and find things that are in that negative manner. That was another thing too, as when I was younger, I had, a mother who always would talk down on herself, and it comes with the mental abuse and so forth that, she had discovered. And so that was my mindset of even growing up. I had body dysmorphia. I never felt that I was beautiful or whatever. Like I literally didn't feel I could pick anything. Someone would say to me, wow, that's a beautiful sweater. And I would literally find something like, oh, well, this little string is hanging here. Like I would always have to resort it into something negative because that's how my mindset worked. And then it becomes, consistency is key. And when you consistently do that, that becomes a habit, and you like literally do those things, those negative things, and you say those negative things just out of habit. It just comes out because that's what you're feeding yourself. So if you're feeding yourself nothing but negativity, you have nothing but negativity to disperse. Okay, so back to the 369. So the 3 is the energy, frequency, and the vibration. Then the 6 is your 6 senses. So, you see, you hear, you feel, you smell, you touch, you think, all of those types of things. So if you say, for instance, you want to become rich, okay, or anything, I want to become skinny, whatever. You have to stay and you have to live in that energy, frequency, and vibration of being rich. You have to feel you're rich. You have to literally, live as though you're rich, like be forthgoing, dress to the nines, make your character, your vibration, your energy in that prosperous atmosphere. Then utilize your 6 senses being rich. Feel it, hear it, smell it, taste it, like literally feel your senses of being a rich person. Then number 9 is the different frequencies and like their benefits. So like, and I will share something with you, but basically any vibration is from like 174 hertz to like 963 hertz. I believe that's like the top, like, the ultimate like consciousness, hertz, but the alignment aspect. But if you live in those frequencies, those positive frequencies, the like universe has nothing other than that to retrieve from you. So if you literally live as you're rich, you're abundant, you're prosperous, you have all this, money flows through you, and you truly believe that, you will see it. I promise, 100%. The universe responds to the only one thing, and that's certainty. Not hope, not eventually, not if they apologize, not if I win the lotto. Certainty. And what certainty is what you make your reality. So this is why a while back I had said something along the lines of, in a world full of melody, people crave a baseline, because people don't know. They just constantly seek. It's like being on a hamster wheel. They just constantly seek more than enough, more than, better than. They seek their value and their worth outside of them. So if I get money, if I become rich, if I do this, so you're constantly on that hamster wheel and you're not living it. You're not changing your mind, because when you change your mind, you change your life. So when you show up living in that belief, your body and the universe will follow. Your mind is that steering wheel. Your mind controls it all. So, reality will adjust itself based on the mindset of the observer. So yourself, the field reflects your frequency back to you. So you're basically like the broadcasting source. So like, it's like, picture a car, as I had said, you're the radio station that you put on. If you tune into, rock, that's what's going to receive back to you. The reticular, the activating system that, we have in our brains, that is based on your dominant belief. So if you believe life happens to you and your brain like believes that oh, I'm poor, I'm this, and you believe that life is happening to you and not through you, your brain will literally find proof everywhere while missing the open doors and opportunities for you to actually discover them. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody's coming to make it right. You are literally rehearsing an ending in your head, yet wondering why there's no fairy tale ending if you are living in that Sally sorry for myself and Debbie Downer atmosphere. That's just, you are literally creating that ending for yourself. And that's not loyalty to yourself. That is literally living in a prison and holding on to your own key. Like you have to, you can change practices all you want, but if you don't change your mind, you will never, ever be free. You will constantly seek more than, better than, insert whatever. You have to literally outgrow out of that survival mode. What happened to you in your past, if you're waiting for that person to say sorry, if you're sitting here prying and praying on, their justice and, and revenge and just vengeance in general, you will lose opportunity to grow. You will literally sit in that victim mentality, and that is a low vibrational mentality, and that is the atmosphere and the universe. You're basically telling it to draw that back to you. That's, like I said, the boomerang effect. The only way that you could get out of this survival mode is breaking that human conditioning. You have to get to the root source of why you feel the way that you do. Like if you're feeling, I'm not safe, I'm not wanted, I'm not worthy, that is basically, you're just going to keep seeking the evidence to suffice that, to prove that. But if you start believing and sitting in the frequency and the energy, and the vibration of what you really want, you want to be rich, you want to be healthier, you want to be whatever, then you are going to literally manifest and bring that reality to yourself. And this is why I wanted to make sure that I came on and I had, followed up with this, because I am a very positive person. People that know me will say that, and it's like I said, I was all in my feels. I was like really feeling that I was going backwards, and I have to remind myself that the old me was a sick me. It was sick because it was based on beliefs of my childhood and, the fact that I didn't have a father that loved me, and I didn't have, I wasn't shown love. And here's the reality, you guys. Everyone is out here thinking that they're seeking love, but if you don't fix and heal, and remember, you have to feel to heal. If you don't acknowledge and become aware of those old practices that you grew up, and those beliefs that you grew up thinking were right, and that that was how you were supposed to maintain love or obtain love and what you're worthy of and so forth, if you don't realize those, fix those, see that it was actually someone who was a hurt individual that was telling you those things and doing those things to you, and it wasn't you specifically, like it wasn't that you can't be loved, it wasn't that you can't be treated respectfully and so forth, you won't even know love if it literally sat on your front door, because you are in that mindset and that consistency and those beliefs of the old patterns and the old conditioning that you were raised in. Once you break free of those conditions and those beliefs and those false realities that people had made for you from your past, that is then when you can step into the reality and become the person that you're meant to become. And that is where peace is. That is where happiness is. And like I said, a lot of people say that they're looking for love, but in reality, they're not looking for love. They're looking for safety, because they aren't sure what love really is within themselves. You have to do the work. You have to discover who you are internally, authentically, the bottom source line, not what people told you, not what you were raised to believe, not from, this difference and whatever. You have to find it within yourself. And we are all human beings, and we all have many, many differences, different race, different sex, different religions, and so forth. But there's something that is the same within all of us, and that is the human conditioning. We are all part of the same design structure to believe and to think and to feel that we are what our past had taught us to be, if that makes sense. And if you continue to live in those patterns, you will continue to get the same results. That's how it works. And the way that the mind is anything from being born till age 8, that is actually when your mind is contracting all the information and learning how life is to be. And so if you are living in a toxic environment, or even your parents are raising you to think that, you're worthless unless you go hustle and be, literally out here slaving to the world and so forth, your mind will always be in that design of survival mode. And that mode is unhealthy. It's not realistic. It's not true. You're not worthless if you don't do 10 times more than the next person or whatever. So I want you to take time, seek within yourself, do the 3-6-9 rule. Know that, the 3, the energy, the vibration, and our frequency. Find that within yourself. I'm going to give you this frequency, like hertz thing that you can listen to the actual frequencies on like Amazon Music, Spotify, and so forth. Live in those vibrations, live in those environments, seek positive people, surround yourself in positive environments. You will never, ever be free if you keep locking yourself into a prison of toxicity. You will never be safe, or you will never be unsick if you keep putting yourself in environments that make you sick. If anyone is draining you mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, and so forth, those people are not for you. They will continue to hold you down like a weight, and you will never rise. Never. You have to remove yourself from the environments that are making you sick in order to become better. And you have to put yourself in the energy fields that people who are going to support you, love you, build you, raise you up to higher vibrations. And like I said, be in the frequencies of the positivity and the true, authentic feeling that completes you inside, that you don't need anything external to make you feel better than who you are, because you will find that place within yourself, and that is who will bring you peace. You. That is who will save you. You. That is who is going to bring you love. You. Everything on the outside and those who are around you, those people are to complement, to build you up, to give you more love, to give you more, prosperity, to bring you more abundance. Those people aren't there to fulfill it. You fulfill yourself. They just bring more to the table. It's like going to Thanksgiving and you're showing up with a chewed up chicken bone. They're going to look at you and be like, what the heck is this, right? Like, you didn't bring anything for us to eat. This is a feast. So, of course, if you show up and you bring the whole turkey, well, then now you're bringing the abundancy, and you're matching that vibration of who you're meant to be and where you're meant to be. So I hope this helped. Don't be a Sally, sorry for yourself, or a Debbie Downer. Know that you are so amazing. You are so wonderful, and you are someone. You are some of the one, and it's all about seeking internally, finding those pieces within you to become the masterpiece that you are, because you are a piece of the master, and all of us have a mission and a purpose and something within us that feeds and helps one another. And when you raise the vibration and you raise that love and that prosperity and all of that inside of you, you literally become the light to the darkness of those who are out there. And you guys, the opposite of love is not hate, it's fear. When people treat you a certain way, that is something that they fear or see within you that is making them fearful within themselves. And that's why they degrade you or, act foolishly and, say and do evil things. It's things within themselves that make them feel that way and why they treat you that way. It's not a you problem, it's a them problem. And it's not your job to discover their needs and wants. That's their own job. You have your life to live. You are a soul having a human experience. You're not a human looking for a soul. And that's what we forget, is that it isn't external. The answers aren't external. They're within. And it's time that you start feeling, healing, and seeing the amazing person that you are. Much love. Talk soon. And that's a wrap. Let's recap. If you want to find secrets of the universe, said Nikola Tesla, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Maybe healing is exactly that. Survival mode teaches you fear, to chase, to struggle, but healing changes your frequency. Your thoughts become energy, your words become vibration, and your life becomes the frequency that you live every single day. And the moment that you stop surviving and start aligning with peace, self-worth, and authenticity, you stop living in the lack and start living abundantly. Because abundance isn't just what you have, it's who you become. And when you're finally free to be yourself, that is when everything comes together. Maybe fulfillment was never outside of you, but it was always waiting on the other side of healing.